so for me, like a big thing was I learned that like, communication was really important. So you never got lost in translation, and everyone kind of knew what was happening at all times.
I would say the biggest lesson I learned has lots to do with time management, but also pushing yourself. There were many times when we had hundreds of Rice Krispie treats to be fulfilled, and I was still working a part-time job and still had lots of my regular homework to be doing or just other things like that, and it was really easy to feel overwhelmed and think, I'm doing so much, like this is so stressful. But there was something that Mr. Marty always said to us in class that kept coming to me, and it was just make things happen. And I realized that if I made a commitment to do something, then that meant I had to do it. And so I really learned how to make time for things and prioritize and actually do consider the same commitment.
One of the biggest lessons that I've learned is that you can't always, like, bad things that you can't plan for are always bound to happen. We go through like our little SWOT analysis, and in our threats we try to think of anything that could possibly happen, but even then you still forget some things. Like one of the things, for example, or with our Rice Krispie treats, some of the people didn't like they missed the chemically taste from like the real Rice Krispie treat, and that's just something you can't plan for. And that's kind of something you just gotta leave to itself. But I mean, not everything you can plan for, but you always gotta learn how to pivot if it's actually something serious, or just make things happen no matter what.
I learned a lot about making sure that I was spending my time effectively. There was some point where we were doing a lot of orders and stuff, and we were thinking about doing a wholesale provider so we could get our stuff more cheaply. We could save money. That's a good thing. And so I was spending a ton of time on this. I was contacting different companies. I finally found one. There was a bunch of logistical issues that we're trying to figure out. And eventually Eric called me and he asked me a question. He was like, is this really worth the time that you're putting into it? And I could step back and think about that because I had done some of the math, and I knew that we were going to save money, but I didn't know exactly how much. So then I sat down, I did the calculations, and it was going to be like $50 to $80 or something like that. And that was not worth the hours that I was putting into this. It would have been a lot more cost effective of my time to just focus on making a bunch of calls. I could have made like maybe 50 more calls if I had been spending my time differently. And so after that, it made me think about making sure that I'm spending my time effectively, that I'm putting my time towards something that's going to bring the best results for me. So that's what I learned.
One of the major lessons I learned during this whole experience is definitely time management. I used to be a very large procrastinator, so now that I kind of have an idea on how I should manage my time better, I implement it in my day-to-day life with my extracurriculars, my homework, and then my part-time job as well, and that definitely helps save my time for other things that I might be interested in, like hobbies that I can start now that I have better managed my time.
As marketing VP for Krispy Creations, I learned the importance of adaptability and problem solving, especially when our website broke down. I had to quickly assess the issue and find a solution.
As the former CEO of Krispy Creations, I learned that I'm a very detail-oriented person, and because of that, I can cause things to kind of run slow. I learned that it's important to set specific dates and stick to them, and to not like rush everything, but have a quicker pacing for myself. I really learned that about myself, and like also leading by example. I tried my best to do that. I didn't want to ask for people to do anything that I wasn't willing to do myself. And that when you're running a business, it's really important to have motivation and vision.